Hello again. Yeah, hi everybody. This will be my second video for the day. The other one was about Mezzofanti, the great polyglot, if you haven't seen it already. And this one here is just going to be a quick one, a response to Moses McCormick's Don't Ask, Absorb, which I watched the other day. And I immediately want to make a response to. It'll be very quick, but here it goes. I watched this video and he seems to be speaking about particularly beginners, so this refers to beginners. So if you're a beginner in language learning out there and you're watching this, I would highly recommend that you watch his video, as he is quite an experienced and enthusiastic polyglot, and he's studied many languages, so he would know the way to go about it. And I found it particularly interesting because he says that people tend to ask questions and be very curious when they're learning a foreign language, when they're starting, to the point where they're being a bit too clever. So, for example, people like to learn, for some reason, not like it, but they feel as though they have to learn the grammar in the beginning. And he mentions that this is not really a good idea for beginners, and I totally agree. I think this sort of thing can scare you off. And people who do it feel as though they need to get these rules down perfectly. They ask, why is it like that? Why is it like that? They're too curious. They feel as though they have to nail down the rules in order to speak the language or understand the language, which isn't true. That understanding those kind of rules, those grammatical rules, without a context is very difficult to do, and is really just making your job a lot harder. You should worry about that later. If you want to go back and brush up your grammar, you can do that. In the beginning, he wouldn't recommend, and I wouldn't recommend, learning too much grammar and asking too many questions. For example, if you're told, this is how you say this in this sentence, or this word, or a sentence, let's say. Oh, why is it like that? Why is that ending like that in that sentence, but why is it different in another sentence? Don't ask. Just absorb it. Just accept it. If you memorize things and accept it and just listen to the language and repeat what you're told, you will remember these things, hopefully, eventually, and then the logic or the grammar will all make sense later on, once you've done enough of this and you've heard it many times. Try to go by intuition, because and try to make your job a little bit easier. Because people don't learn their native language like that by learning grammar and writing and technical explanations. These things just add to the work, and it's just going to make your job harder. And you don't want that in the beginning. You really don't. When you have a feel for the language, when you've studied it and you've heard it, not studied it, but learned it or heard it, you've learned lots of words and phrases and sentences and things like that, then you can go back and brush up and perfect your grammar and make sure that things are right. And it will make a lot more sense later on to do so, as opposed to trying to hurry and do everything straight away with the grammar. You're not going to understand the grammar in the beginning. And even if you do, as some people do, you won't be speaking the language for a while. You won't be speaking it, or you won't understand what people are saying to you anyway. So you need to listen to the language, absorb it, learn lots of words and phrases, talk with people if you want to, ask them how to say things, but don't ask why things are like that. Try to avoid that, because you're just going to be overwhelmed. But usually there's a lot of grammar in a lot of languages, and you will be overwhelmed, and questioning these things it'll drive you crazy. I know, because I've done it, and I'll never do it that way again. I have a much more systematic and logical approach to it now. Yes, which is much more effective. So he talks about this, and I'm glad he touched on this subject, because I've wanted to make a video about it as well, and he did it, and he's definitely the right person to do it. And his technique works very well. So it's not about grammar's bad or anything. Grammar's good in context, but But having to know, don't feel as though you have to know everything or every part of the grammar in order to understand the language. Understanding the language and speaking the language will come, but it takes time. And grammar alone and mastering every rule and trying to work out why things are like that is not going to help you. Not until at least you are very experienced. So that's basically what he's saying. And also, just one more thing. Adults, particularly adult learners, feel as though they have to have the rules. You know, they feel, look, if I have this rule, just one more grammar rule, or this rule here, if I get that right, you know, I'm ready to you know, get serious and I'll be better. No, you won't. I can guarantee you. Forget it. Try something different. People feel as though they need the rules, and if they have them, they'll be much better with the language. When in reality, that's not true. People do this for 5 years. Do it for 3 years at university. They do it for 5 years at school. They might do it for 10 years and find that they're getting nowhere. Try something different. Try it this way. Try to absorb and listen and just repeat and memorize what people tell you. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more fun, and your brain will pick it up from the context. You will eventually get it. You will. You just need to be patient. So, that's my rant. They're my comments on Moses McCormick's video. If you haven't watched it yet, go and do it. And while you're there, watch his other videos. They're very good. So, thank you very much, and hopefully see you in the next video, which I hope to make sometime soon, if this stupid university homework, if I can get that out of the way, then yeah, I'll make another video. Alright, thank you very much.